Season 4,
Oh
finally.
my gosh, season 4, finally. We took a very much needed hiatus. We had some, elections to mourn and stuff to do,
Careers to leave.
to change.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot happened.
Yeah, it's
A
been
lot
kind of a
happened since last
wild.
fall.
Is that how long it's been? Yeah, yeah, last fall.
Because we didn't do anything for the holidays either.
Nope. Sorry. We have some things planned. They were going to be really cool too. We'll
They
do them
were.
this year.
This year, it's going to be better.
Yes.
We're both in much much better places.
Yeah. I found some needed balance. I was doing way too much and I had
Yeah.
taken on way too much, and nonprofit was taking way too much out of me.
Your soul.
Yeah, it really, really did. So
Yeah.
I got out, found an easy job, and here I am.
Living such a great life now.
I'm living my best life now.
I love that every day you call me and you're like, I love my dumb job.
It's so dumb. I love it. It's just such an
Ugh.
easy job. I mean, I don't want to say where, but I'm working in a municipal government and it's completely different than what I've been doing, but like my goodness, is it exactly like you would expect. Local government to
Very, very
be.
Parks and Rec.
It's very Parks and Rec. I've been meaning to rewatch it um just to like see.
You're just gonna build yourself that circle desk.
I know.
That's what your chair was doing earlier.
When I got up, my chair was just
Just a little, just, just a little top of a chair.
oh man.
Man. Anyway, so what have you been up to? What are you reading? What are you watching? What are
Reading
you
finally
seeing?
again. Um,
Yeah.
I feel like I didn't read for years and now, finally reading. So I picked up one of my a friend from work. Um, lent me a book that she read, and it is like ripping my heart out and making me sob. But it is so good, and I don't want to put it down. Like I'm a little irritated that we're here right now because I kind of want to read.
Like, I really want to be
We're
reading. Can
almost
we get this
done.
over with?
I'm like two-thirds of the way through the book. But it's called Nightingale, and it's by Kristen Hanna, and it's about two sisters in occupied France during World War II. And it is heartbreaking. Like I'm at the part now where like the French occupied police with the Germans are rallying up all of the foreign-born Jews and deporting them out of the country into German work camps. Work camps.
Yeah, cool.
It's just,
Not like anything that's happening these days at all.
I know
Not similar
I
in
don't
any
feel
way,
any
shape, or
parallels
form.
at all.
No parallels. Nothing, nothing, nothing. I did hear something that was really interesting earlier this morning. Someone, and I don't know if this is true or not, but take it for what it's worth because it's on the internet, so who knows? But supposedly people are like putting up ice and snow warnings where there are ice checkpoints.
Oh,
Yeah. So
that's
like if
really,
you see it on Waze
yeah.
and it's not snowy or icy where you live,
Hmm.
like
Good to know.
yeah.
Um,
Um, but yeah.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
really good. And it there's a lot like because the two sisters are really handling it very differently. One is very determined to like fight the Germans, whatever she needs to do, often, putting everybody else around her at risk, especially, at the start of everything. And the
Yeah.
other one is the older sister who has a young daughter, and her husband was away at war and became a prisoner of war. And her main concern is like, I can't do anything that's going to put my daughter at risk.
Yeah.
And so or, her sister is accusing her of being complacent or not caring or not. And then it's like, what do you do? Like, do you put you and your daughter at risk to help others? And it's like it's an impossible situation sometimes because you feel so powerless
Hmm.
and you just can't think of doing anything that's going to put this innocent child at harm. But then what about all the other innocent people that are being harmed? So it's like you
Yeah.
can see both sisters' points of view so well.
Yeah.
And it's very much like what would you do?
Yeah. I remember in my history classes in college, I took, of course, I took Dr. Heron's classes because, and I remember, and they were both related to the Holocaust, um, and that, you know, for those of you who don't know and will never know who this person is, she's a history professor, but her area of expertise is the Holocaust, and I just remember reading about people who would be in hiding with their babies, and like you can't control when a baby's gonna make noise or not, and like just I can't even talk
Yeah.
about what happened, but like it's yeah, I can't even.
Hmm.
You're
So
just crying all the time right now.
it's heavy, it's deep, but it's really, but I have to finish it. So usually I would keep that book at work and me and my husband, because my husband works with me. And I work at the same place as my husband now.
Oh.
And so we'll have lunch together and we'll just read our books.
Mhm.
And
Good.
so I was leaving it at work just to read while I was at work because I was reading a different book at home because, why wouldn't you read 2 to 3 books at the same time?
Not. I get so confused.
Because I also have my audiobook that I read just on audio. So, it's 3 books. And I started bringing it home because I'm like, there's no way I want to read the rest of this book at work because I will just be back at my desk, like sobbing and crying.
Sobbing. Yeah.
Like, okay, I have to finish it this weekend and just like rip that Band-Aid off.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Just get it over with, I think.
mhm,
Yeah, I could maybe do two books at a time if I was reading one and listening to the other.
mhm,
But like I don't think I could I don't it's hard to read unless they're like completely different subject matter. Like one's like totally nonfiction, like some kind of whatever kind of book, and then the other one is like a story. Like
yeah.
maybe then I could do. But if they're about anything similar, like just no. So I saw Sinners. Um, it will not be still in theaters probably by the time this comes out, but it'll probably be on streaming and watch it if you didn't go see it in the theater. Like it is so good. It's just what you want movies to be, like original and new and this really great story, really great acting, really great everything. Like it's just there's like social commentary. It's just amazing. I don't want to give too much of it away. And then when I talk about the plot, it just sounds wacky because it's like twin brothers are trying to open up a juke joint in like post World War I Georgia or Mississippi, like somewhere in the South, and then vampires,
As they do.
like you do. But it's so good. It's so good. Um, yeah.
Awesome. I know.
Anyway,
It's one that I'll watch when it comes out to stream.
yeah, it's really good. It's really good. I love that there was this I don't know who she is. I just saw it on Threads like the weekend that Sinners came out, and it was a white woman, and she was like, oh, and she lived in Atlanta or wherever it was shooting, and she was like, I emailed every casting director in town. I was like, please, even if I'm just like an extra in this movie, like I want to be in it, like please put me in the background, like please, 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 please. And she was like, and now that I've seen it, I realize why no one called me back. There are like four white people in the entire movie. So anyway,
Oh
but
man.
it was just, there's so much depth. And if you don't want to see the depth, like you don't have to, but like, well, there's no way around it. But it's just so good. It's so good. Yeah. Anyway,
Add it to my list.
yes. Yes. I saw Thunderbolts,
I
which
had an argument with my husband because I told him, it's not a spoiler anymore to say like what it is now, right?
I mean, by the time this drops in June, I don't think so. I
Well, because
hope
like I
not.
was telling him, like, oh, I want to go see the new Avengers, and he's like, that's not out yet, and I'm like, no, it is. It's the Thunderbolts, and he's like, that's not the new Avengers. Like, the new Avengers is going to be like the Doctor Doomsday or something. And I was like, no, this is the new Avengers. That's what they're calling it. No, 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 it's the Thunderbolts, and I'm like, no, with an
They are the
asterisk,
new
and
Avengers.
now it's the new Avengers. That's no, 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 no.
Thunderbolts,
And
asterisk,
I'm
the
like,
new
no, look it
Avengers.
up.
No, I mean it's not a spoiler in June. It might be a spoiler now-ish, but like I feel like it's everywhere all over the internet, so
Yeah.
it's not really a spoiler unless you've like hidden away, but it's been out for a couple of weeks now, so yeah,
Hmm.
not spoilery. And then when this comes out next month, it won't be.
Yeah.
But that was also like for me, it was so different than anything Marvel that I've seen of Marvel. Like
Mhm.
it was just so much more depth. The characters were so much more interesting and so much more dimensional. Um, which in a way which you can be because it's like all anti-heroes. Nobody
Yeah.
is strictly a good guy. There is no, Captain America, good,
Mhm.
good guy, Thor, worthy of the hammer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's a bunch of Natashas and Clints,
Yeah.
and but even more depth, even better. Like it's so good. It's so good. And Florence Pugh, like
I love her character.
she's so good, and
Like
she's so good.
the
She's
best
just such a
part
good
of
actress.
the Hawkeye series was her character.
Yes, her and Kate Bishop.
Yes.
Yeah, with the macaroni and cheese.
No, not Kate Bishop.
Isn't that her name?
No.
What's her name?
Lee Steinfeld.
No, but her
Her
character's name is Kate.
character. I was like, no,
No, I know
Lee
I
Steinfeld.
know it's Haley Stein, but I was
Bishop.
like, because I can very clearly hear her in the elevator. Kate Bishop.
When you said Kate Bishop, I was thinking, um,
Blanchett.
no, no. Um, somebody else named Bishop. Kelly Bishop.
I don't know who that is.
Is it Kelly Bishop? Something Bishop. It's she was in like Gilmore Girls and Dirty Dancing and like a whole bunch of other stuff. Um,
Dirty Dancing.
yeah, she played the mom.
Oh,
That's
I
why I was
know who
so
you're talking about.
confused.
I know who you're talking about.
Is it
Yes, I
Kelly?
think
I'm
that is
looking it up
Kelly
right
Bishop.
now.
I think that's her
Yes,
name.
it's
I think
Kelly
you're right.
Bishop. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
That's
Kate
what I was thinking
Bishop.
of, and I was like, that's why I was so confused. I was like, Kelly Bishop is like an old actress. She wasn't even
She's
in
like
the show.
70. No,
All
Kate
right.
Bishop, I think, is Haley
Yes.
Steinfeld's
Yep.
character.
Same page now. Got
Yeah.
it.
But Haley Steinfeld is also in Sinners.
Oh,
Yeah.
I feel like I knew that in the recesses of my mind.
He's in the trailer, so that's probably you knew. But yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so good. There's just so much more depth. You still want to punch John Walker in the face. Not much is new. I almost called him David Hopper, but David Harbour is great. Even he's Hopper in Stranger Things. Alexi,
Oh, yes. Mhm.
yeah,
Oh man.
everyone's
Stranger
good.
Things 5 is
Is
coming
it ever
out.
coming out? It has been like 5 years since the last season.
All the kids are grown up.
Even longer. Pre-pandemic. It's been like pre-pandemic since the last season. All the kids are adults.
Has it really
Where are
been pre-pandemic since season
we?
4?
I think so. I can't remember. Well, maybe not. Maybe it came out during the pandemic, but they
Came
were
out
shooting it before I don't know. It's been
before
forever.
Stranger Things 2016. No, wait, that's
When it
season
started.
2022.
But yeah, it would have been like 20. Yeah, crazy.
But I think it was one of the like it took forever because of the pandemic for that one to come out.
Yes.
Like the production and everything, I think they had to halt and then they were finally able to start
Because
filming
they
again. And it
started.
like took forever for
Yeah,
that season to come out. So
they
even
started
then the
before.
kids looked a lot older.
Yeah, they started before,
Hmm.
I think. Or the pre-production was before, whatever it was. But yeah. It took and this one is taking for they're gonna be parents.
They have no reason to now. Like just film it and move
Just
on.
or just be done,
Or yeah,
kind of.
I like it, so I wanted to keep
I
going.
like it. I want it to come back. Like I want the conclusion of everything, but I'm
Yeah.
also just like, when is this happening?
Like at some point it's gonna be like, okay,
Hmm,
I stopped caring.
great.
I'm still
Now they have
here,
kids.
but you're gonna
Now
lose
their
me
kids
too.
are in the basement.
There's a
uh,
good chance a cat will end up in the video at some point.
cat?
Cat.
Oh, your cats. I
Yeah.
was thinking about strange. I was like, a cat in Stranger Things? Like, sure. What?
Not exactly.
Oh my
A
gosh.
cat just walked across my feet, so
Oh,
um
typical classic Zoom.
I know.
But speaking of Zoom,
Oh yeah.
uh, we are trying this out. Um, part of the reason we needed a break was like it was getting really hard to make enough time to record episodes to where we weren't trying to record like four in one day.
Mhm.
Um, because we don't live that far apart from each other, but we live far apart where it's not convenient to
Yeah.
just be like, hey, on a Tuesday night, let's
It's at
record our
least
podcast.
an hour, and if we try to do it on the weekday, it would be at least two.
Oh, yeah.
One way.
So, yeah, one way. So we're trying this out. We'll see how it goes, internet issues and all of that aside. We're just testing it out. Let us know if you hate it. Let us know
Yeah.
if you love it. Let us know if you don't care.
I mean, for those listening in, it shouldn't be any different.
Yeah, listening it should be the same, but our videos will be a little different for a while. And if you know how to make Zoom videos look better on YouTube, let me know.
Yeah.
Hit me up. I need some training.
We're all
But
ears. Well,
yeah.
Traci is because she does the video portions.
And just remember, like it's at home. I don't have fancy camera angles and I don't have fancy like cuts and editing. It's just going to be pretty much this, just like our other videos.
I'm gonna
Um,
try to work with my lighting, but it is what it is. I
I'll bring you my spare ring light when I come
think I
down,
just need to
the
get
big
like what you
one.
have is two lights on either side to just shine me a little evenly, but
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't know where I think it, well, I had them already, the lights with the bright light bulbs, because I had it just like for work to be able to see better and kind of like sometimes I feel like a fluorescent-y kind of light feels like work and
Yeah.
like the yellow or warmer light feels like home. And so during the pandemic, I was like, oh, I just want like a bright or like whatever. I just was like, I want a bright light. And then as we started having like more and more Zoom meetings and stuff, I was just like, oh, I should put these here so that it looks, I never got a ring light or anything. I
Yeah.
never got a ring light until we started doing this podcast and doing like our video episodes. So
Oh man. But here we
anyway,
are, season 4.
here
We're
we
finally
are.
doing this, and we're pretty excited about the lineup that's coming. We have a lot more activities planned to kind of
Yeah.
like pair with it. So we'll hopefully be posting more things on our Instagram about things that we're doing that are kind of
Mm,
related to or tied into that we can kind of
yeah.
talk about in the episodes. So hopefully a little different. We're staying with the more looser format of last season where, we're not going to have a formal question or anything like that. I'm going to try to do more research and things.
I am going to continue to say that I'm going to try and then continue to not.
But,
It's my
and I say
promise to you
research,
all.
I mean surface level,
Yeah.
putting things, especially things that take place in the past or were filmed in the past, like what is the historical context?
Yeah.
So, hopefully that's good. Tell us if you like it. Tell
I
us if
think
you
we've got a
don't.
I think we've got a great season coming up. I think it's
I
going to
think
be
so.
super fun. We have a lot. Yeah, we just have fun stuff planned, especially for these first few episodes. Like I think that'll give us a really good sense of where we're going.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And it's freeing now. Part of like what Tracy said, it took so much time to do the episodes in person that that was all our time that we had available for each other went to just that. So the only time that Tracy and I were seeing each other was to record. But now that we're not using so much time, we're doing it all together, 3 episodes plus bonus episodes at a time. We have a lot more free time to do all the extra things and
Yeah.
spend time
We can
together
just like
again.
be friends again, not just
Yeah,
coworkers on a podcast.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
But
Well, we've rambled on long enough, I
yeah,
guess. So let's just wrap it up. We're just kidding.
there you go. Episode 1 done.
Episode one in the can.
No,
No,
we have a topic.
we do.
Yeah. And I think it's related, like we're talking, you saw the movie World War One. I have my book World War Two. This movie takes place during World War Two.
Nice.
And it's A League of Their Own. The
Hey,
movie, not the TV show.
I almost wore this, but it's like a dress and a whole thing, and you know, sorry, not sorry. But one year a group of us were the Rockford Peaches for Halloween, and one of the women in the group made all these costumes. So it's like custom made Rockford Peach costume.
Love it.
Anyway, yeah, it's fantastic and I love it. But I didn't
That's
end up
a
wearing
lot to
it.
put on just for like a top.
Yeah, for like not even
Mhm.
all you'd see was like the baseball league patch
I know.
and maybe the top of the circle.
Yeah. I tried to go kind of baseball-y. This is as close as I could get. But all right, let's get down to it. So, A League of Their Own was released in July of 1992. Production was Parkway Productions and distributed by Columbia Pictures, directed by Penny Marshall, written by Lowell Gans and Babaloo Mandel, produced by Elliot Abbott and Robert Greenhut, and starring Gina Davis, Madonna, Lori Petty, Rosie O'Donnell, Tom Hanks, David Strathairn?
I think it's Strathern or Strathern.
Yes.
Strathern?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Gary Marshall and Bill Pullman. I was really irritated because Wikipedia put Tom Hanks first out in front of all of them. I'm like, excuse you. It's about
Yeah.
women's baseball.
Like come on. I
Um,
mean, biggest name at the time probably.
sure.
Gina Davis was pretty big though.
Yeah. Madonna, Rosie O'Donnell, they were huge.
Yeah, I mean Madonna is was like already an icon at that
Yeah.
point,
Yeah.
you know. But
Um, all right. And the summary for that is as American men are called to fight during World War II, a professional all-female baseball league springs up in the Midwest, funded by publicity-hungry candy maker Walter Harvey. Competitive sisters Dottie Hinson and Kit Keller are scouted by Ernie Capadino, played by John Lovitz, um, on the condition that Kit can come only if Dottie does. Both end up joining the Rockford Peaches, managed by has-been coach Jimmy Dugan, Tom Hanks. Spurred by fear of the league being shut down, the Peaches endeavor to prove the league is worth keeping even after the men return home. The All-American Girls Professional Baseball League was a real-life professional women's baseball division that began in 1943, and much of the plot of the film came from the mind of Kelly, I should have looked up these names better, Candale, whose mom, Helen Candale, played in the league with her sister, Margaret, beginning in 1944. Let me move my notes so I can see you again. And you can get
oh,
that for rent or purchase on Amazon Prime, YouTube TV, Apple TV, Philo, Sling TV, others.
yeah. I was surprised. I always thought I had it on DVD, but I guess I don't.
Oh.
I know. I thought I did. Maybe I have a VHS. But yeah, I was looking for it last night because I was like, oh, maybe I will, you know. I
Yeah,
just I wanted to watch it again, but like I ended up not because I just the Betty Spaghetti husband I'd seen, I just couldn't take
that
it. If you
scene.
haven't seen the movie, it it's World War II, you
Mhm,
know. All these women, if they're married, their husbands are overseas. Um, and you know, some of them die, and it's just awful because it's like right before a game,
mhm,
and the whole scene is just like
yeah.
heart-wrenching. And I was like, I just don't have it. I just don't have it in
Well,
me.
and their coach at the time, Jimmy Dugan, he's such an asshole at the beginning of the movie, or because he's just this drunk of a former baseball player who broke his knee falling out of a window and lost his career. And
Yeah.
they offer him this job coaching women's baseball, which he just thinks is like the dumbest thing ever. So he just like, what is it? He's the first game, he just waves his little hat and then sits in the dugout scratching his balls.
He's so very like 80s Tom Hanks. Like when you think
Mhm.
about how he was in like Splash or like any of those other movies pre pre like Harry Met Sally, I think,
Yeah.
or maybe like this was probably around that same time, but where he's just like so angry and he's like this blah, 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 Tom Hanks, and it's
Mhm.
just like a return to that. And I was like, oh man, that Tom Hanks, like
Yeah.
pre like America's Dad Tom Hanks.
Yeah. But you see him like warming up to them and like really seeing that like they are like legitimate athletes.
Yeah.
And he starts to really care for them. And, back in at this time when, a soldier was killed, they would notify the wife by telegram. and they would receive these and they I mean you don't even have to read the telegram to know and this kid from the War Department comes into the locker room and is like got a telegram here for the War Department these are and he's just such an idiot like these are just the worst you hate getting these well here I don't have the name for this like I'm gonna have to go back to the War Department and Jimmy Dugan or Tom Hanks' character like basically is like no just give it to me like because he knows like all of the married women are just gonna be like
Wreck.
a wreck trying to what who is it and so he just rips it out and and just he was it's gonna choke me it's such a hard thing and he just hands it to
Awful.
Betty Spaghetti and she's just like sobbing and
Oh.
such a hard scene.
It's so awful. It's so awful. But that's why I couldn't watch it. So
Yeah,
now that we talked about it,
done. Just move on. Because it's a great movie.
it's so good. I mean, it's Penny Marshall. Of course, it's good.
Yeah,
It's like a fun story, aside from the sad things. But like, it's just like one of those classic white girl movies.
yes. um
I mean
there
that lovingly. I mean that lovingly,
yeah,
not, you know.
I mean, it's a great movie for women, but specifically for white women.
And they do touch on that in the movie,
Yes.
right? Like because in the actual league, like there were black women who were denied being able to even try out or play,
Yeah.
let alone play. Um, and and in the movie, there is a scene where, a ball goes flying and there's like a group of black women standing there. I don't remember what they were doing, if they were watching, if they were just walking down the street by the field, um but one of them like picks up the ball and like throws it back and whoever catches it like they're just like, "Oh
Yeah.
man." And it's like very obviously these women should be allowed to be playing in this
Yeah.
league. Like they
Well,
should
and
be here.
I looked it up just to see like what was it like. So the league just to in kind of the actual league that
Mm,
existed, it went from let's see, 1943 and ended in 1954. So not very long.
uh-huh.
But it did go on after the war.
Yeah.
But where did I write it? Um, let's see, I wrote down when I found it online and now I can't remember where. But when Wrigley started the league in 1943, it followed Major League Baseball's segregation policy of not hiring African American players. Yet after Jackie Robinson became the first African American player to join the Major League Baseball in 1947, the All-American Girls Professional Baseball League continued to exclude African American women. So at no point in the league's history were black women allowed to play.
Why are we like sometimes just the worst to each other?
I know, right? So I do
Yeah,
appreciate that the movie at least
knowledge.
acknowledged it.
Yeah. Agreed. Agreed.
It,
Um,
it wasn't explicit, it was just that one little scene, but
yeah.
it at least didn't like try to pretend to be greater than it was.
Mm. Yeah, it wasn't like, oh, everyone was allowed and just
Mhm.
these white women were better than everyone. You know what I mean? It wasn't like yeah, it didn't hide it,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, and I think something like a league like this is like just, I mean, not just the movie, but the league itself. I mean, it's one of those things where, yes, it was a great thing for women. It still fell short of being a great thing for all women. And I think
All
that's
women.
something that we can still look back and appreciate what it did for female athletes of the time
Mm.
and still acknowledge
Yeah.
what it failed to do.
There's always an and,
Mhm.
I think when we talk about stuff like this and a historical movement and achievement and
Mhm.
change, it's far too slow,
Yeah.
you know. But it's so funny too. Something I was reading or watching was talking about Wrigley, like the the Harvey, the Mr.
Yeah.
Harvey was
Yeah.
Wrigley,
Harvey
and
Bars versus Wrigley Gum.
the owner. Well, he was the owner of the Cubs,
hmm
um, and one of the women who played in the league was talked about how um, they he always wanted them to look like women. They could play ball like men, but they had to look like women. So that's like the uniforms that they wear in the movie are accurate.
Yeah,
Um,
100%.
Yeah.
you go to, and we'll have it linked in our show notes. There's a web page for the All American Girls Professional Baseball League, and there's even a link if you go into like history or something where they talk about the charm school, and that was
Yeah.
a real thing, and they were expected
And
to.
Rubenstein.
There was a whole thing, and like there's even information on like their makeup routine and their skincare routine after a game to make sure that they maintain like their femininity and beauty.
Always,
And
they always had to wear lipstick.
yes,
If they were wearing pants, he made them take the service elevator. Like just banana stuff. But I mean, it was of the time.
yes,
Um, but yeah, it's just funny to think about how,
yeah.
you know, how our lives were still like we're still controlled, you know.
Well, and how even when we are allowed as women some semblance of like being allowed into a male space, like baseball or sports, or being
Hmm.
allowed to have our own space that's similar, we are still held to a higher level.
Yeah.
And that's true today.
Just like, dude, go put boys in a skirt to play baseball.
Right. I love it. Gina Davis's character, when they first like show this and they're all like, that's too short. And she's like, I gotta squat in that thing. She's a pitcher.
It's so good. Yeah, it's so good. Um, oh, and that scene when what's her face slides and then it's like the
Oh,
huge bruise on her leg
yes.
after. Oh, yeah.
Like they weren't even wearing stockings or anything or like
Oh,
leggings or anything. Their legs were bare.
legs.
Yeah. Imagine that. But yeah, ouch.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I mean it was a great
Wait.
thing. The league was a great thing. It was such a
Yeah.
short-lived thing. I didn't realize it ended so
Quickly.
quickly.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
11
I was
years.
just going back to the uniforms really quick.
Yeah.
That was one moment in the movie that kind of jumped out when, they were complaining about how the skirts were so short and how are they going to play ball in this and
Hmm.
like whatever. And when what's his face's character,
Ira Lowenstein.
yeah, comes out and he's like, if you can't you what did he say? You can't play ball in this, you can't play ball with us. And I took a note. I was like, imagine if they had just all walked out.
Right? What would they have done?
What would they have done? I mean, they've already sent the other girls home. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, they could call them back, but like, are they gonna then come and,
Yeah.
play in those outfits? Like, it's just so interesting and it's so scary, right? Because like you and I were just talking about before, like the salaries that they were making were more than an average worker was making at
Mhm.
the time. And, and I just noted, I was like, man, like poverty and oppression keep us locked into horrible choices for
Yeah.
ourselves, and not that this was a horrible choice. Like they're
Oh,
playing baseball, they're they're making way more than the average person to go play ball. Like what that's not a horrible life. And still like
yeah.
this is your choice. Be uncomfortable
Yeah. Well, and
or go home.
I always remember that character, Ira Lowenstein. I forget which actor plays it. Is that the Strathern or whatever?
Yeah.
Um, sorry, Strathern. I'm never gonna pronounce your name right.
Sorry, Dave.
Ira. Ira's character. I remember him fondly because he's the one that tried to keep like when they start like, whoa, we're winning the war, the men are gonna come home, we don't need women's baseball, and he's the one that kept the league going. And in real life, like there was like Wrigley ended up selling the league to
Mm.
like the marketing manager. I have it written here. Let me get the historical accuracy because I did the research. Um uh they kind of Wrigley lost interest in the girls' league after, early in 1944 when the men started coming home. And after that season, Wrigley sold the league to his Chicago advertising executive, Arthur Meyerhoff. And it was under Meyerhoff, that expansion and publicity of the league reached its peak after that. So it's like that was a real person that I think
Yeah.
it wasn't Wrigley that kept it going all those years. It was this marketing guy.
Yeah.
And so I remember him of having faith in the girls and thinking that like, no, there's something here.
Yeah.
But then his comment, not just that he said, there's 80 girls that would play in a bikini if I asked them to.
Yeah.
So if you can't play ball in this, you can't play ball with us. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't remember him saying that.
Yeah.
It's
He was
awful.
like, there's 38 girls going home right now who would play in a bikini if I asked them to. Like, I don't know if that's the right take, man.
Yeah. I was like, man, but it is like in all fairness to the time, that is not that that's not good, but like that's how men saw women.
Yeah. Oh,
So, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things that this movie and this league wasn't. But there was a lot of things that it was, and it
I,
was
you know,
good.
something that I was really thinking about as like what was really great about this was that scene where they're on the bus and they're looking at photo albums. Like one what's her face is learning to read with Madonna in the back with like the
Shirley.
dirty book, and then you get up
Yeah.
front and it's like Rosie O'Donnell and a couple of other people like sitting and like looking through photo albums, and
Yeah.
somebody's like, "Oh, who's this?" And it's this picture of this guy with like he looks way older. He's got a huge spare tire, and she's like, "Oh, that's my boyfriend." And they're like, is this picture out of
Like,
focus? And she's
no,
like,
that's
no,
what
that's
it
what
looks
it looks
like.
like. And but then she starts talking about how like and she was like, but he's he doesn't have a job, he's something, and he treats me bad. So, the important things or whatever. And they laugh about it a little bit, and one of the women is like, so what, like kind of like why?
Yeah.
And she's like, all the other guys, like they made me feel wrong. And just because like I could play ball. And I was just thinking about how like this problem he was like, but she was like, but now that I'm here with all of you, like
Hmm.
I'm not that I can't be
Yeah.
wrong. Like I can't be that wrong. And so it just made me think about like community, and how this even with its problems, it created a community for women who probably were a lot like the Marla Hooches and Rosie O'Donnells,
Hmm. Yeah.
and definitely a lot of women who were probably gay.
Yeah.
You know what I
Well,
mean?
and
Like they're
that was Doris, played by Rosie O'Donnell. Like, and her best friend was May, played by Madonna, who was
mm,
like this like smoke show of a woman who like danced with the men at her dad's dance hall and like was like just like a big sex pot and like gorgeous.
yeah,
And I say sex pot fondly because she enjoyed men.
yeah.
But
But then she has an arc where at the
yeah,
end where she's like, you're telling me I got to go back to the dance hall where
some guy can
some
sweat gin
guy
all
can
over
sweat
me.
gin all over me for a dime a dance, and it's like,
Never going back there again. Yeah.
yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, and
like
that was when Doris is like, look, there's a lot of us, like, and I think we're all right.
yeah,
And I think that too with Kit, with so there's the two
mm,
sisters, Dottie and Kit, and Dottie is like, Gina Davis, tall, perfect hair. She's like the star player of the league, and she's just so
girl,
good at everything. She's very feminine. She's gorgeous, but she's so good at baseball, and like she's got like the whole package, and like she talks about her
yeah.
dad introducing them as like, this is our daughter Dottie. This is our other
Butter
Dottie's
Dottie's
sister.
sister. Yeah.
And it's like this league in the same way that it gave it to Doris, it gave Kit a place of belonging, a
Yeah.
place where, so when, Dottie went to go home and she's like, well, we'll see you, like, no, I'm going to hang out here. Some girls are going to get an apartment,
Mm.
and she ends up like staying there and, living this totally different life than she ever imagined and
I
having the
do
space to do it.
I do think it's really funny that at the end, when it's like the reunion and they're all older and they're coming back for like the opening of like the exhibition in the museum or whatever it is, and or the museum
Hmm.
itself, whatever it is that they come back for, and it's like Kit and Dottie see each other and they're just like so emotional, and I'm like, they are still sisters. It is very highly likely that they would have still seen each
Yeah.
other at
Well,
some point in the last like 50
I
years.
always think about that too. And they do, and like even her kids are like, Aunt Dottie, Aunt Dottie. So obviously she like knows her kids. But
Yeah.
and also if Kit brought her whole family, how come Dottie didn't bring her family?
I think did Was there a conversation about that? I mean, I know her husband ended up dying
Yes, but like her daughter
older,
and
but did
grandkids were there.
did they have kids?
Yeah, so in the beginning, it's Dottie trying to not go, and her daughter is
Oh, right.
convincing her
That's right.
to
That's right.
go.
Yeah.
And her daughter has this great quote that I love. It's like, when are you going to realize how special it was and what it meant?
Yeah.
And so it's her, and then she's got two grandsons, and they're playing basketball, and she's like telling one, like telling for her
That's
little
right. I
brother, like,
forgot
let
about
him
that
do
part.
some, let him have a few shots, and then tells the younger one, like, kill him.
Yeah. I forgot
Um,
about that part.
yeah. But
But I
no,
think
there's a
too,
line in there where she says, like, she's like, well, you're gonna see Kit. Oh, Kit might not even be there. She's off traveling with her husband. So I think that's like it seems
Okay,
like
okay.
Kit is, and that makes sense too with how we leave it is like Kit's like, no, I'm not going home. Like, I'm gonna go have this adventure.
Yeah.
And like, I'll see you. And so, yes,
And
they
All Dottie
definitely got each
wanted,
other, but probably not very often.
you're the Dottie to my Kit, because like all
I
Dottie
know.
wanted was to like be home with her husband. You know, I mean,
Hmm.
that's why she quit after the first season because
Yeah.
he came home
And she was just doing this for Kit.
for
He
Kit.
didn't want to go.
Yeah. No, she
Um,
didn't want to go. She wanted to stay at the dairy and like wait for her husband to come home. And, so it's just yeah. But I just thought it was funny. It makes me think of like that's the scene in the last episode of The Golden Girls where they're all saying goodbye and they're just like sobbing and they're acting like they're never going to see each other because obviously it's the show, but like
yeah.
they're acting like they're never going to see each other again. And Dorothy's like, "You're all my sisters," and I'm like, "But one is your mother. One is your mother." In her 80s. You're gonna see her again. Like
Like, I sure hope so.
Florida and Atlanta aren't that far away. Like, you're gonna see her again, I think. But it's just like it's just like so, because obviously like the show is ending. These
Yeah.
actresses like who've worked together for 7 years, and but it's just like it always makes me think of that. Like those two scenes to me are so parallel because I'm like, you're family. Like you're
Hmm.
gonna see each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
But one, I think too,
anyway,
like, the best part of the ending was, and between like Kit and Dottie, is that they're each getting to choose the life they wanted.
yeah.
And that was okay. And that was fine. Dottie wanted the home life with her husband and to start having kids right away. And Kit wanted a big adventure and to play ball and to like have this whole other life. And that was great. And they both had the opportunity to do that.
I just thought I want adventure in the great wide somewhere. Yeah, and I think, as much as like that whole situation where Kit got traded, because Dottie was like, "Oh, I told him to trade me," and she was like, "Of course he's not going to trade you." Um, but when she gets traded to Racine, and like when either Dottie accidentally or on purpose drops the ball,
Mhm.
um, and they win, like you can see that like Kit has found a community for herself
Yeah.
too, because like I think as long as she was a peach, she was always going to be in Dottie's shadow, even if Dottie was gone,
Yep.
you know. Um, but yeah,
Yeah. And I actually, the Racing Bells did win the first year, but they didn't play the Peaches. They played Kenosha. So there's your little factoid. I thought that was cool. At least they had the same team like win that
yeah,
actually won.
yeah,
So
yeah. Um, oh, it just makes the so. Can we please talk about Marla a little bit, who is
I
like
love
one of
Marla. I
the
have so
one of
many
the
notes on
best
her.
characters. I love that scene when she's leaving with her dad and she's like, maybe I should just because I love so much about her recruitment. But one of the things that I love about it, and we have to talk about like the whole John Lovitz of it all and like all
Yes.
of that, but I just want to start it because we were just talking about adventure with that scene with her dad in the train station. And she's like, but who's going to take care of you and cook for you and clean the equipment? Um, and he's like, nothing's ever going to happen here. You
Hmm.
got to go where something can happen.
Yeah.
Like, and I just loved that moment
I
so
wrote
much
down
about this
that
father
same quote.
who just loves his kid and like he
Mhm.
tried to do right by her, but he just didn't know what he was doing because her mom died and like he doesn't know how to raise a girl and oh,
Yeah.
I love that father-daughter relationship because there's so many relationships, there's so many binary relationships that we're looking at too, like
Yeah.
sisters, spouses, best friends,
Hmm.
father and daughter. Like,
Yeah.
of course.
And like, he's just what a good dad who's like
Yeah.
so unconditionally supportive and
Hmm.
wants this opportunity for his daughter. Because I mean, you would think too, so many like dads and like older men who weren't going off is like, I'm not giving, like, who's going to take care of me if you go? Because men were so used to being taken care of in the home.
And he was just like, no, get out of here. I love too when they're at her tryout and or her like exhibition or whatever it is.
Hmm.
And the dad's like, oh yeah, somebody told me that if she was a boy, he'd be taking her to the championships, and I told him if she was a boy, I'd be negotiating with the Yankees.
Hmm. Yeah, it's probably true.
Right? Probably.
But I loved that moment too, where like Kit and Donnie didn't even need to speak to each other when they found out that they weren't going to bring her because she wasn't pretty. and they both just, without speaking, just put their bags down.
I love that. I loved that.
Yeah. And like for all his like sexism, like I didn't hate John Lovett's character.
No. And listen, no shade on John Lovitz because he is not a bad looking guy, right?
No.
Like he's not. But John Lovitz, you're gonna tell me that someone's not good looking enough to go do something
To play baseball.
to play baseball? Come on. It's just like the freaking patriarchy, man.
Yeah.
Like, ah.
But yeah, I loved that solidarity. And it was like, and then when Marla gets her moment at the suds bucket at the
I'm
roof,
Stan Nelson, baby.
ain't I, baby? Like,
Oh
what
my
did you
God.
give her? A dress and a lot of liquor.
So good. It's so good.
And that guy Nelson, and he just is like, I'll take her home. It would be my honor.
Oh,
And he's just like so taken with her. And I'm like, this is beautiful.
I
And then
loved it. Yeah,
married.
I love that. I always like watching that movie. It's so easy to forget. Like, it's Madonna, right?
Yeah.
But in that scene, like, you also remember, like, oh, yeah, Madonna was a trained dancer.
Yeah.
Like, she was a dance major at Michigan or whatever.
Mhm.
Like, oh, yeah, forgot. She's
Yeah.
also, like, freaking incredible.
Yeah.
Like,
She was so good. That whole scene was so funny. And the other thing that I loved about that scene, so the league had all of these rules, not just charm school, but they had very strict moral rules for the ladies. Like no smoking, no
smoking.
drinking, no men.
Yeah,
Um, and so they're on the road and they decide to go to like sneak out. So they like they have chaperone. They
yeah.
poison the chaperone so that
For
she's
a
sick.
Mickey.
And then they all sneak out and they invite Dottie. And the thing I love is Dottie's like, no, that's not for me. Like, but you guys have fun. Like, no judgment.
Mhm.
But then she comes to then the Ira Lowenstein guy is gonna be there. And so when she finds she goes and like gets them all out so they don't get in trouble and get kicked out.
Yeah,
And so it's like, look, like that's not for me, but like you do you, even though it's against the rules, and like you live your life, but I'm gonna come help you if something's gonna get you in trouble. And I've got your back. And I thought
yeah,
that was cool.
yeah.
You know,
Oh,
they all help each other.
Dottie, the Queen of Diamonds.
Oh, so good. I just love this movie.
I do too. I do too. It's fun.
Evelyn and her annoying child. Still
Well,
well.
Angel.
Evelyn, I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to
I'm
kill your son. Oh man. And
love
then
at the end too when he's all grown up and Dottie's like, still will?
you're gonna lose. Oh man, I love it. It's such a good movie. It does. It
Yeah,
just makes me tear up every time. I mean, I'm sobbing at Betty Spaghetti, but like throughout the whole movie, I was
yeah.
like tearing up at all the little like touching moments and
hmm Especially like the real I not especially, but just also the relationship between Jimmy and Dottie.
hmm
Like that example of friendship that you can have with someone of a different gender where it's
hmm
not automatically about falling in love
Yeah.
or anything illicit or anything scandalous or anything romantic. It's just deep friendship,
Yeah.
you
Well, I think
know?
there was a lot
And
of like respect.
and love. And there's love, but it's not
Mhm.
romantic love. It's not, oh, your husband's gone. Let's
Yeah.
shack up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There was never that moment. I don't remember there being it.
Yeah.
And like, I really liked that, because we talk about that all the time. Like, can we just not, like, why do we always have to have a love interest? Why does it always have to be some like romantic thing? And yes, her love
Yeah.
interest is her husband and he comes home at the end of the war. But like,
Sure. But like
you know,
at no part in the I mean, yeah, there's Marla's little like romance and everything, but in no part was romance a major story arc.
no. And the whole thing with Marla was because, like, I think it was less about the romance and it was more because, like, she found herself and she
Hmm.
was in a place where she was free to be who she was,
Yeah.
even though she had to get a makeover and do the classes and blah 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 blah. But like, she finally was seen.
Yeah.
You
Although
know,
they didn't really
even
do much for her. They didn't
no,
pay her that much.
but even in, in the scene where with her tryout where she's at home, she's just slumped over, her
Mhm.
head's down, her hair's like in her face, and she's got the hat on, and even getting on the train, and then all of a sudden she just becomes
Yeah.
herself because of these women, because of this game, because she's allowed to go do something that she's really good at,
Hmm.
and and so like that romance doesn't even bother me in the way that most like contrived romantic stories do, because it's like, no, someone just is finally seeing her for her, and
Yeah.
like, like that's what it
Yeah.
felt like to me, rather than just like, let's wedge in a love story because we have to have someone have a love story,
Yeah. That would have been a really disappointing movie if they had made Dottie single and fall in love with Jimmy.
or made her cheat on her husband.
Oh, that would have been even worse.
Awful. I would have hated it.
I wouldn't have liked that movie.
So it's Penny Marshall, so of course it's not going that way.
We can always rely on Penny.
Good old Penny Marshall. The good old Marshall family.
Oh, so good. I just love this movie. I love that song.
Yeah.
This used to be my playground. I'll listen
Oh,
to
I
that
was
song
thinking
for
about the
days.
one that they sing in the locker room or whatever
Oh,
that Evelyn writes.
yeah. The we're all for one,
Mm-hmm.
we're all American.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh man. Looking at my notes to see if there was anything else. Was there anything else for you?
I was reading my notes and I saw like, if you can't play ball in this, you can't play ball with us. And I was just thinking about the Sandlot. Play ball like anyway.
They should
Oh,
be so
Sandlot,
lucky.
such a good movie.
I know. I haven't watched that one since we saw it at the beach.
Ah, oh, you mommy, look at doggy. Oh, big doggy.
Oh
Oh,
man.
yeah. Anything else? Anything else we should talk about? I think we hit the
Um,
high points.
well, I mean, something that we kind of touched on, I think, is no, I don't even think I said it yet, is if you don't know, there is a women's pro baseball league that will be starting. Um,
Oh,
they
I didn't know.
are, you didn't know?
No.
Oh, yeah. Tryouts are being held this July and August. I think the deadline to like put your name forth has already passed. I think it was at the beginning of this month.
Okay.
And then the tryouts are going to be, and then they're going to launch 6 franchises in 2026.
Oh
So
my gosh,
the
yes.
link to this is going to be on in the show notes. I added it in the links, but yeah, so it's going to be called, so it's no more All American Girls Professional Baseball League. It's Women's Pro Baseball League.
Yes. I
Um,
like it.
so yeah, that should be exciting. I think I might watch it.
Yeah.
Like if they had it, they haven't picked the cities yet either. So we don't know where the franchises are going to be. Um,
Hmm.
so we'll see. One fact is that I thought was interesting is it ended up springing up in the Midwest, the All-American Girls Baseball League. When they
Hmm.
did that, it was sprung up in the Midwest because they were trying to get the cities as close to Chicago, which was kind of like the major league
Where,
headquarters.
where Wrigley Field is
Yeah.
and where the Cubs are.
Yes. But like that was like it was like a central hub for baseball in general.
Yeah.
Um, and obviously that's Philip Wrigley owned the Cubs,
Yeah.
and he's the one that started the league. And so that's how they ended up. And they were, let me see. The idea originally wasn't well received. And the city,
Shocking. It's
huh?
so shocking
I
that it
know.
wasn't like how,
Um,
oh,
well, because his hope was that that some of the like major league
yeah.
fields would let them play, and they would have them in those because they were only being used half the time now because there was no a lot of the minor leagues had stopped, because the men were being not deported, drafted.
Saw uh deployed. I
What
saw,
drafted? They were being drafted.
yeah. Yeah. I
Um,
saw some article that was talking about how like the minor league something did know like they were all in, like they were like, if we're drafted, we're going, you know what I mean? Versus like not.
yeah, but major league never quit. They never ended up stopping.
I was just gonna say something, but speaking about the women's baseball league that's coming, we should go to a soccer game.
Oh my
like
God.
here, up here in LA.
Yeah. There was such a funny thing that I saw recently, and it was like a quote, I assume from a soccer player, but I didn't recognize the name, or maybe just somebody on Twitter or
Mhm.
X or whatever it's called now, or Threads. I
Yeah.
don't know where it was. And it said like for a country that doesn't care that much about soccer and doesn't care that much about women, like they're really good at women's soccer.
I remember when I was like in college or high school or something, I remember I was talking about soccer with someone, I don't know, some dude, some like, I don't know, some guy. And he was like, and he was older, but he was like, I think maybe it was like on the plane or something, like, I don't know, but he was just talking about, he just said, oh yeah, no one plays a soccer like American girls. No one's better. No one's better at it.
Yeah.
And it's true because our women's soccer team is better than our men's soccer team.
Yeah.
And
So
like
when you
put up,
said let's see a soccer game, you mean a women's soccer game, right?
oh yeah, I don't.
Hey, sure.
Mm. Well, because LA has the team that is like co-owned with like
Hmm.
Natalie Portman and Jennifer Garner are like the main ones that I've seen
Yeah.
promoting it. So I think they're both owners. Um, but yeah, I want to go. Angel
Yeah,
City, I think.
absolutely.
Yeah,
So, but I can't imagine that LA or somewhere in Southern California won't have one of the
we'll have
six
one.
franchises.
We'll have to. We'll
So,
have to have one. Yeah.
because I'll go. I don't like sports, but I will watch that. But I would try
But
to do
like
women's
baseball is like one
basketball,
of
but I
those.
just really dislike basketball, so I just can't get into it.
Oh, I
Sorry,
love
ladies.
basketball.
Not my thing.
As we've said before, basketball family on my dad's side.
I like the
Every,
atmosphere of
Everyone played
baseball.
basketball
So,
except me.
yeah.
But yeah. Um, yeah. All right.
I think that about any final thoughts, any favorite quotes or moments?
One when May does like the triple play, or she makes a home run or something, but they're like, oh, and you can see why they call her all the way May, and I'm like, that's not why, bro.
I think one of my favorite parts is the famous like there's no crying in baseball.
Oh, of
And
course.
then
I
right
mean,
after that, like the umpire comes up to him and he's all like, "What's happening?" And it's like, "She's crying, sir." He's so annoyed. I'm like, well, she's crying. Like that's the problem.
I also love like the intro of Tom Hanks when he just walks in and just like starts peeing. And Rosie O'Donnell's character is like, it's fucking peeing.
And like time it. Oh man. It's just a good movie.
It is.
I could watch it and watch it. And
Yeah.
so if you haven't seen it, go see it and then go catch out women's pro baseball in 2026.
Yes. Into it.
Yeah, we gotta support it. It can't last only 11 years this time.
No,
We gotta keep
no,
it
it can't.
going.
Sure can't. We got to keep it all going.
Yeah.
Yeah. All
Alrighty.
right. Well,
Thanks for joining us.
yeah, this was fun.
Rejoining us.
Rejoining us after so long. I know somebody we know was like, yeah, I don't know where your podcast went. It was like my car podcast, and now I have to listen to other podcasts.
Oh
And I was like, oh,
no.
I'm so sorry.
We'll fix it, I promise.
We're coming back, I swear.
Yeah. But if you have good ideas for what we should talk about this season, let us know. We're still pretty like open to a lot of things. We have it pretty well set, but we're always flexible.
We're flexible. We can make changes and adjustments.
And definitely check us out on Instagram and other things because we'll be, trying to post a lot more and activities that we're doing outside of just recording. So check us out. But is it pod? Is it pod or is it app? But is it?
Visit pod.
What I thought. It's been a while. You can tell that Tracy does the social media.
You just have this look on your face of like, oh my God,
What is it? When you
what
start
is it
saying
pod?
something and then you don't remember that you didn't remember until you start saying it and you're like,
And it's just like coming out and you're like, no, come back.
get it back, get it back. Oh man. Alrighty.
All right. Well, I guess that's it.
That's it. Thanks, everyone.
We'll see you
Thanks,
next
Tracy.
time. All right.